And good morning, high school football fans. Welcome to the High School Sports Roundup here on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com, fueled by End Market. PJ Zucco here with you this morning as we wrap up and look at all the big high school football games from the weekend and looking at all these big games, big wins from last night for Savannah and Hilton Head area football teams. And what a number of close matchups we had last night. Great games between solid programs all around the area, and a few of them right here on ESPN Coastal and ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head. So a number of these ones, plenty of scores to get through, tons of coaches to talk to as well. We have a loaded show here on the High School Sports Roundup, and can't wait to talk to all these coaches about last night, the big wins, big games from all around the area. But first, let's go through the roundup real quick. As last night on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, your coverage of the Benedictine Cadets football team brought to you by Savannah Toyota. Kevin Thomas, Christian Gokel on the call, and the Cadets sadly fall to Buford 33-23 last night in a back and forth ball game for most of the evening. I know tied up at 23 there late, but Buford able to pull away in that one, and some missed opportunities I know by Benedictine throughout the night, and some tough situation with some drops and things like that, and Buford able to pull away in that one 33-23 over Benedictine. The rare situation where the Cadets are now sitting at 0-2 on the year, and taking on North Oconee next as well. But I mean, also taking on some very very strong programs, and Buford no slouch by any means. Of course, we all talked about how good of a program Columbus was last week that Benedictine took on, and obviously not making excuses by any means. You want to go out and win these high school football games and get started off to a 2-0 start, not 0-2. But at the end of the day, non-region games, all about getting better and progressing. And you know what? If you're going to have some of these things, some of these mistakes happen, better to be early in the season and in these non-region games than the other way around. But Benedictine falls in that one. Also on ESPNCoastal.com last night, your coverage of ESPN High School Game Day and the Game of the Week, fueled by End Market, brought to you by Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. The Island Sharks got their first win of 2021, 19-7 in that defensive battle, defensive matchup, man, between these two teams. Johnson got on the scoreboard first with a 7-0 start on the first play from scrimmage there for the Adam Smashers offense. After that, Islands was able to take over defensively. Really, it was a back and forth battle defensively all night. Turnovers being caused all over the place. There was some tough penalties on both teams, and just you look at false starts, offsides, plenty of those last night. So both these teams going to have to work that out as the season goes on. But still, a strong showing by both defenses. But Islands able to capitalize on some big moments throughout the night. And I got to tell you, the toughness of quarterback Jeremiah Gabriel was huge last night. He was beaten and banged up. He went out of the game a few times with some cramps and after some big hits. But 2 touchdowns on the night for Gabriel, one on the ground on a 3rd and 19, which is he was able to run in for a 24-yard touchdown score and able to tuck his shoulder and bowl over a few guys for the last 5 yards of that touchdown run. And then late in the game as well, to put it away, 1 minute to go in the ball game, the connection to Russell Wright over the middle of the field scored the touchdown there. His second touchdown of the night there for Gabriel, obviously, and able to put that one away. And I'll tell you who else was huge defensively, Sharon McGirt. Sharon McGirt all over the place last night for Islands, especially in the big moments. A 70-plus yard touchdown fumble return for a touchdown by the big man defensive lineman, and a 4th and 4. He comes up with the sack there on Johnson right before that touchdown drive for Islands with a minute left. So huge plays by McGirt, and a huge night by him and the Island Sharks to be able to get that first win of the year. But let's go through the rest of the roundup here, obviously, as well. New Hampstead gets the big victory over Savannah High last night. I'll tell you, this game last night in the first half at halftime, 51-0. So New Hampstead able to close that one out, get the victory. over Savannah High, and a big night there. Calvary Day gets the win over Frederica Academy, 47-14 for the Cavaliers over the Knights. It was Richmond Hill falling to Burke County, 27-26 in a tough one there for Richmond Hill. But, happy to get that ball game in, as of course this had to be rescheduled from earlier in the year, as Burke County kind of going through some COVID things and whatnot, and a contact tracing. But at the end of the day, Richmond Hill sadly falls to Burke County there, 27-26. Jeff Davis gets the victory over Jenkins, 39-7. So first loss of there on the year for the Warriors, but still I'm happy that they were able to get in a game this week. I know had to get a rescheduled game due to their first one being affected due to contact tracing and COVID. But luckily, Jenkins able to schedule Jeff Davis. Sadly, comes with a loss, though, with Jeff Davis winning that one 39-7. Savannah Christian over Valwood last night, and the Raiders rolling 47-7 in that one. It was Appling County defeating South Effingham 41-10 last night. Also, ECI over Vidalia 17-14. And Glen Academy defeating Winder Barrow in Glen County Stadium. The Red Terrors' first victory of the year, 35-14. Memorial Day falling to Thomas Jefferson last night, 34-0. And it was Southeast Bullock over Telfair County there, 24-0 as well last night. And finally, Ware County getting the victory over Baldwin. The Gators of Ware County moved to 3-0 on the year with a 41-20 victory over Baldwin. And that big, I know Benedictine coming up on the schedule for Ware County in a few weeks. And that going to be quite the matchup in a few weeks for both those teams. Ware County really kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. That's the third game in a row. They're obviously able to win, but score 40-plus points as well. Thomas Castellanos throwing the ball, running the ball all over the place. So that going to be an interesting one for sure for Benedictine when Ware County comes to town. But I know the Cadets progressing and got to focus on North Oconee and really focus on getting set for that one here next week. Is a tough one again last night for the Cadets, 33-23. But I think once they're able to, just start executing what they have in front of them, I think this is obviously going to be a really solid football team. And we'll hear from Coach Britt later in the show. Heard from him after the game there last night and just kind of lost for words a little bit on what exactly is going on with this team, because you go through practice, guys executing well, obviously able to get everything down and be good, and then you come out in the game and sometimes you just don't have that same execution, don't have that same focus on detail and things like that, and that comes back to bite you a little bit. Did last night with some drop passes and muff punts and things like that for Benedictine. So tough night there last night, but they'll come back obviously and get after it with North Oconee. You have Islands once again getting that victory over Johnson, and how impressive that was to be able to fight through everything they were able to fight through. Both teams having 4 turnovers on the night. Islands did throw 3 interceptions there on the night as well. Have 1 fumble that was turned over by Johnson also, but still every time Johnson was able to get other than that first one, that first interception that Islands threw set Johnson up with an 18-yard touchdown run on the next play. Other than that, whether it was a turnover, a punt, or anything like that, whenever the Islands defense got on the field, they were able to secure and do big things against Johnson. Turned Johnson over 4 times with 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions on the Adam Smashers. And, I think for both these teams, one of the big focus moving forward after last night's game, though, too, is correcting these penalties, correcting these mistakes. And it's really a pre-snap stuff, right? It's offside penalties. It's trying to judge the snap count and getting caught off guard by the snap count, by the hard count, by the opposing team. Saw several times last night where it was a false start and it was wide receivers trying to start the play before it was really going. So interesting times there. And I know that's something that both these coaches are going to be focused on moving forward through and correcting as the season goes on. But you talk about talent, man, all over the football field last night for Johnson and Islands. If they're able to secure some of these things, especially the penalties for both these ball clubs, they're gonna cause some trouble for some people in region play. And I mean that with Islands, not even the starting quarterback there with Jeremiah Gabriel. I mean, he had Amari Bedgood go out there last week and was having a really solid week, score a touchdown, throw a touchdown pass. End of the day, go down with an injury. And Jeremiah Gabriel last night stepped in and played very well, threw the football really well, had those picks, but still was able to make some plays and athletically was able to tough through some hits that I don't think a lot of people would be able to. And really, even on that last drive, able to deliver a couple strikes while getting hit. That touchdown pass while getting hit with a minute left to go in the ball game, and able to keep getting up and keep powering through it, even with some cramping issues and things like that, I believe, fighting throughout the game. And I want to shout out to Justin Kreider as well, the backup quarterback there for Islands. He came in the ball game a few times last night, delivered a few solid passes, and was able to run the offense efficiently. Got the defense with the snap count 2 times in a row to make a 3rd and 11 into a 3rd and 1 that they were able to convert for the Island Sharks on a big possession there. So big night for the Sharks to get that victory, move to 1-1 on the season, and I look forward to moving through the rest of their non-region schedule before, of course, they get set for their big region play there later in the year. But we'll come back, as I said, loaded show for you here on the High School Sports Roundup, fueled by N Market. We'll come back. We'll talk to the head coach of these Island Sharks, Deshaun Printup, as they get the victory last night. Chat with him about that, where this Islands Sharks team looks to progress even more throughout the season. Here when we come back on the High School Sports Roundup on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com. Welcome back. It's High School Sports Roundup here on ESPN Radio, Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com. PJ Zucco here with you this morning, all fueled by End Market here on ESPN Radio, Savannah Hilton Head, going through the roundup with you. Last night, Savannah High falling to New Hampstead. It was Calvary Day over Frederica Academy, 7-14. Benedictine falling to Beaufort, 33-23. Richmond Hill falling to Burke County, 27-26. Jeff Davis defeating Jenkins last night, 39-7. And Savannah Christian defeating Valwood, 47-7. And last night, our ESPNCoastal.com high school game day game of the week, fueled by End Market, brought to you by the Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers, was Islands and Johnson. And the Sharks of Islands get the 2-7 victory over Johnson for the Island Sharks' first victory of 2021. And joining us now to chat with us about that win, his football team there from last night, is Deshaun Printup, head coach of the Island Sharks. Coach Printup, great to have you on this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, DJ. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Coach, absolutely great to have you on once again. And looking at that victory last night over Johnson, and a little bit of a wild one, Coach. I know Johnson gets out after the turnover, after the early interception. Johnson able to score on their first play from scrimmage, but you guys able to buckle it down defensively there the rest of the night and score 19 unanswered to secure that first win of the season.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was very proud of our defense to come out and bounce back after giving up that touchdown on the first play.
Yeah, Coach, absolutely. And you talk about being able to bounce back and do that, but also just apply pressure all night. You come out with a big defensive touchdown as well with big man Sharon McGirt being able to rumble down and pick up the fumble and close it out. There's 70+ yards for the touchdown. And, I was going to talk about the whole defense, but while we're on the subject, talk about him. He came up big in every situation that you guys needed him to. That fumble return for a touchdown, a fourth down late in the ball game that he was able to come up with a big sack. It seemed like he was kind of unblockable there last night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we knew going into the game that Sharon was going to get some of those one-on-one matchups, and we hit that for him, sending pressures and things like that. But yeah, he played amazing. He did everything that we needed him to do last night.
Yeah, Coach, for sure, and making the offense uncomfortable. And it seemed like Johnson was able to move the ball and be somewhat effective. They're kind of in between the 30s, but still, you guys able to have kind of a bend but not break mentality throughout the night. And how proud what do you take away from your guys being able to do that? Kind of let them have some yards here and there, but really buckle down when they needed to.
Hey, man, that's been the philosophy for our defense for 2 years now. We've always been don't break mentality. Our kids, they buy in every week, do what we ask them to do, and they continue to surprise me week after week with the same mindset and everything, and going out there and doing the things that we need to do in order to hold offenses to minimal yards.
Deshaun Printup, head coach of the Island Sharks, joining us here on the High School Sports Roundup, fueled by End Market. Get the 19-7 victory over Johnson last night, and Coach switching it over to the offensive side of the ball. Some turnovers last night. I had to be patient with the offense, but you guys obviously able to stick with it and really have a solid balanced attack, able to get the ground game going a little bit, and Jeremiah Gabriel playing really solid there at quarterback throughout the night.
Yeah, I was very proud of Jeremiah. He was coming off of being contact traced last week. He didn't have COVID, but he sat out last week's game. He came back. He was hungry, and he made some mistakes early on, but he bounced back from them. Didn't let that weather the way he played the rest of the night. He just had short mentality. That's what we tell him. Next play. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality that he kept, and next play is the most important play. And he came out, and he did that. And he bounced back from those mistakes that he was making.
Yeah, Coach, for sure. And a really solid night for Gabriel. 2 touchdowns on the night. Had that touchdown run early in the game on a 3rd and 19 there as well to be able to score the touchdown, put his shoulder down and run it in the end zone. Then, of course, the important pass over the middle to Russell Wright to secure the victory with about a minute left. And Coach, I want to talk about his kind of toughness a little bit as well. Like you said, this is his first start of the year, and it kind of was going in and out of the game with some cramps, I believe, but also kind of took some big hits there last night as well while delivering passes, but still was effectively able to deliver those passes and get up, shake it off, and move on.
Yeah, he took some shots, man, and kudos to Johnson's defense. You know, they came, they applied pressure, and they did things that we knew they were going to do. And yeah, Jeremiah, he showed a lot of toughness and grit last night, and I was very proud of him for that. He bounced back from the cramps. He had a mean cramp one time. I could see it through his pants. Like, it was bad. But he was like, Coach, I want to go back in. I want to go back in. So we put him back in. He was finished out the game. Very proud.
Yeah, Coach, absolutely, and those ones are the worst for sure. But the guys around him obviously playing really well last night as well. Coach Langston Lewis coming up with important defensive plays as he always does, and also able to make his mark offensively. Roland Ferguson, Russell Wright, Tavari Bruton making big plays as well. How impressed and happy are you with the kind of depth that you have from that kind of wide receiver, tight end position, and able to make big plays in the passing game?
Oh yeah, those guys, man, they work hard every week. They come in, they stay in their playbook, they know the plays. Yeah, I'm very proud of those guys. They I think give us a little bit more time, those guys are gonna be something special.
Right, Coach, absolutely. First win of 2021 for the Island Sharks, being able to defeat Johnson last night 19-7. And Coach, you look forward to moving forward with this group now. Where do you progress? How do you feel like this team can still get better as the season goes on?
We still got to polish out some things on the offensive side of the ball. Blocking assignments that we missed and plays that we will still run the wrong routes from time to time. But we got plenty of time. It's only our second game. We got 9 more, so we should be fine. I am glad that we have our region schedule later on in the year because that's going to help us get all these games. It's like dress rehearsals for those big games, those last 3 versus Jenkins, New Hampstead, and BC.
Right, Coach, absolutely. And you talk about being able to get ready for those big games later in the year. How important is it to have games like this that, you know, you don't, I know you'd rather be beating teams by 40 every week or something like that, but still good to have a game like this. I feel like where it's close in the fourth quarter, you have to have important plays there late in the game to be able to figure out how your team's going to be able to react in situations like that.
Oh yeah. Games like tonight or last night and last week, those games they taught us a lot, man. We know who we can count on late in the game. You know what I'm saying? Our kids are getting those high pressure situations where they do have to make plays and they have to do what they're coached to do. You know, that's the biggest thing, and I think that's going to help us. Like I said, just to touch on last week a little bit, like I told the kids after the game, it's lessons, not losses. You know, we got to learn from these type of things, and I think our kids did. They learned from that game last week, and last night it showed. They came out fourth quarter with, like you said, those last few drives, made big plays. You know, making that sack on 4th down, that was huge. Giving us the ball with a chance to score again. So yeah, these games they've taught us a lot about our kids, and hopefully kids will remember that, know what they have to do in those pressure situations.
Right, Coach, absolutely. And Deshaun Printup, head coach of the Island Sharks, our guest here on the High School Sports Roundup, fueled by Enmarket. Get the big victory over Johnson last night, 19-7, first win of the year, and looking forward to moving on through this non-region schedule for the Sharks as well. But Coach Printup, great to have you on. Great talking to you this morning. Congrats on that first win of the year there last night, and best of luck as you look forward to the rest of the year.
All right, thank you, PJ.
I appreciate it, Coach. Deshaun Printup, head coach of the Island Sharks, our guest here on the High School Sports Roundup. So, 19-7 victory over Johnson there last night. Was 12-7 for so long in that ball game before some huge defensive plays by Islands, and really was able to do that all night. Big interceptions, big one by you talk about Langston Lewis, and maybe where this team can progress a little bit is not only the turnovers, but also those penalties. You have Langston Lewis with the interception, would have been returned for a touchdown, if not for a block in the back. Some false starts, some offsides throughout the night on both these teams as well. So looking forward to both these teams progressing in that, right? But Johnson able to put it all together. Islands able to put it all together there late in the ball game. Have that big sack by Sharon McGirt. Have the huge touchdown pass from Gabriel to right there late in the ball game to put it away, and the Sharks get the victory. Look forward to the rest of their non-region schedule. But we'll come back. A lot of these other big games to talk about over the course of the evening. Richmond Hill just falls to Burke County there last night. When we come back, we'll chat with Matt Lazat, head coach of the Richmond Hill Wildcats, about that game and about how his team has fared so far in 2021. That's when we come back here on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com. And welcome back. It's High School Sports Roundup here on ESPN Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com, fueled by End Market here on the Roundup. PJ Zucco here with you. Johnson falls to Islands last night, 19-7. It was Frederica Academy falling to Calvary Day, 47-14. Beaufort getting the victory over Benedictine, 33-23. Appling County defeating South Effingham, 41-10. Jeff Davis over Jenkins last night as well, 39-7. And Savannah Christian defeating Valwood, 47-7. Another one of those matchups from last night. Burt County outlasting Richmond Hill last night, 27-26 in a back and forth ball game there between Richmond Hill and Burt County, one that certainly went down to the finish. But joining us now to chat with us about that game last night, his program here in 2021, is Matt Lizotte, the head coach of the Richmond Hill Wildcats. Coach Lizotte, great to hear from you. How you doing this morning?
Great, PJ, man. Feeling a little bit better than I did last night after watching the film, man. I was proud of the way our guys fought.
Yeah, Coach, understandable. But like you said, a back and forth game last night, guys fighting hard all the way till the end. Sadly, Burt County getting the victory there, 27-26. But man, what a battle it was.
I'll tell you, wins and losses have never defined our program, Richmond Hill, and it's all about preparation and what's going to prepare us for success on that back end in the games that matter. And last couple of years, we've been able to schedule some really tough non-region opponents, and we've had some successes and we've had some failures, but most importantly, we've had growth. Our guys have gotten better, and I think we're going to improve tremendously after this game. We got a lot to fix, and really look forward to it. You know, when you go from having a scrimmage game and then having what we refer to as the COVID game, and then back to it, you know, you really don't make that jump like you typically do between game one and game two, where you see that improvement and the guys see it and they feel it and you can go. So we really almost had to go back to take a step back, and you know, this was a game one, and now we just got to get better and get prepared for the next one.
Right, Coach, absolutely. And you talk about, you know, just the schedule and having to go through that, and it's certainly not being normal here in 2021, even though I know we all wanted it to be back to normal here for 2021, but still kind of dealing with some of this COVID stuff and you know, the contact tracing and all that. And how happy were you just to be able to get this game in? I know with Burt County had to reschedule some things, obviously, but able to get them back on the schedule and obviously, like you said, get better, progress, and have a battle last night that is going to make you better in the long run.
Well, I'll tell you, anybody that is familiar with the program at Burt County and the job that Coach Parker does with preparing his guys, the physicality of the game, knows that. And it's a slobber knocker when you go, especially go up to the Bears Den and play. And man, we had some battles when I was at Wayne County, and I was excited to get them back on the schedule with us this season, because it's a physical brand of football that you either got to show up for or you're going to be put to shame. And our guys fought, and they grew throughout the 4 quarters of play. We had some opportunities to finish it out and close it out, and we didn't do that. And that's on us. And we're gonna continue to grow as a team. Got a lot of guys that are very new to this Friday night deal, and they're learning as we go also. And so, you know, it's just got to be, it's a learned process, and you know, we got some tough opponents in the next few weeks, and our guys are going to continue to grow and develop. And but the whole purpose of having a team like that on the schedule was to go get after it. We're not looking for cupcakes. We're trying to prepare ourselves to be ready to play in this tough region that we have.
Talking to Matt Lizotte, head coach of the Richmond Hill Wildcats here on the High School Sports Roundup, fueled by End Market. And Coach, you're talking about that, battling through that one with Burt County. And I know ultimately you could probably say, you know, 1 point, but at the end of the day, what do you feel like was the difference in this one that Burt County was able to edge things out?
Well, I definitely think their physicality and it came to show right at the end of the game. You know, when it's 3rd and 1 and you got 2 opportunities scored out in the yard, and it really, that moment, they were on their heels, and we were trying to push forward, and we were moving the ball pretty willingly against. Yeah, they had a stand, and our guys saw it. They felt it. They know what it looks like now, and we're gonna be better prepared because of it.
Right, Coach. Absolutely. Talking to Matt Lazat, head coach of the Richmond Hill Wildcats, our guest here on the High School Sports Roundup. And Coach, I know a big special teams touchdown there last night as well. A kickoff return for a touchdown, and always got to be great. I know. Again, don't come home with a victory, but always got to be great to have those special plays like that, and know that you can not only score offensively, but with your defense and with your special teams as well.
Well, when you see guys have successes out on the field and start to say, okay, I belong here. I can do this. Guys that haven't had an opportunity in the past to play on a Friday night, and then they get out there and they're like, okay, I belong here. I can make these plays. I can excel. That's so exciting to see these guys, the light bulb go off in their head, and they're like, okay, it's gonna be fine, and we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna have a strong season, and we're excited about it, but watching these guys grow and watching it take place out there in between the white lines is, that's why I do the job. I love seeing that happen, and I think our guys are going to be excited, ready to get back at it when we come back next week.
Yeah, Coach, for sure. And defensively, able to make some plays there last night as well. Coach, how would you evaluate how your defense has played so far, and how they look to progress as well?
Well, that the one thing that that we were able to force, Burt broke off one pretty long run, but aside from that, we forced them to drive the ball, and they were extremely patient, like a well-seasoned coaching staff team is. They were extremely patient, and were able to move the ball, but our guys forced them to drive the ball, and we were able to get lined up and able to get the ball on the ground and play really well, and our coaches do a fantastic job with fixes and corrections and scheme, and so watching that take place over the course of a game, again against a team like Burke County that is traditionally very good and very solid, and we know they're well coached. It was nice to be able to watch those guys go over, hear it, make the changes, execute it, and it was very likened to where we were in 2019 with those guys, where we come up to the tent and make some adjustments. They would understand it and go out on the field and execute it. Now we're going to get a little bit more game experience with us, and we're going to be able to do it a little bit faster. But those guys were able to feel it last night.
Yeah, Coach, for sure. And obviously able to make some plays offensively there last night as well. Some big runs, offensive line coming together, big passing touchdown as well. Where do you feel like your offense is at? And from what you saw last night, some exciting moments, no doubt, from your offense.
Well, I think a couple of the guys, Rayvon Grant and Nick Bliss, both had opportunities to go make plays, and they did. And Nick was able to show off his ability and his speed, and he went straight from playing with our ninth grade team last year to the varsity stage, and what a step he's taken. He's been a solid player for us, and exciting to see those guys have successes. And Ty played a fantastic game. As a trigger man, Ty Goldrick, and when you get back there and the things that we ask him to do, and he's able to execute it at such a high level, gives us a shot. It gives us a shot to be in a lot of games, and so taking these guys and we move back in and we start to get going in another week of prep and to just get better and focus on us. It's gonna be fun to get these guys back at it, ready to go.
Absolutely. Matt Lazat, head coach of the Richmond Hill Wildcats, our guest here on the High School Sports Roundup. Fall to Burke County last night, 27-26. But as he mentioned, this team going to get better and better throughout the non-region schedule, and it's going to be fun to watch when the Wildcats get in a region play for sure, and really start to click. Coach, I know you got a really talented program, obviously, there, and a really talented football team, and can't wait to see the Richmond Hill Wildcats move throughout this 2021 season. But Coach Lizotte, great to have you on once again. Always good talking to you. We'll catch up with you again soon, and best of luck as you move throughout 2021.
Thanks, PJ. Build the hill.
There you go. Our Richmond Hill Wildcats head coach Matt Lizotte here with us on the High School Sports Roundup, fueled by End Market, building that hill there at Richmond Hill. And a tough one last night, but I think a mindset in the right place for sure. As he mentioned, going through the tape from last night, a tough loss, but you love to see your guys competing out there, making plays, and the opportunities as well, because I think that's big. I mean, you have those opportunities, you capitalize on them moving forward. It could be a totally different story, especially when Richmond Hill gets into region play. And I gotta mention as well, I mean, taking on some tough opponents in non-region play, and everyone who listens to the show or who has listened to me before knows exactly how I feel about that. If you want to get better, play really good programs, play really good teams. Don't go out and play teams. You're going to beat 70-0 every single week. Every now and then you're going to have a game like that, and it is what it is. But these programs that go out and schedule tough opponents every single week, most likely you're going to see them improving and playing really well there when it comes to the region schedule. We'll see if Richmond Hill can do that, and really, honestly, playing really well right now for the Wildcats, just on the other side of the 1-point game there against Burt County last night. But we'll come back and chat with Danny Britt, head coach of the Benedictine Cadets. They fall to Beaufort there last night out of South Carolina. Chat with Coach Britt about that here on the High School Sports Roundup on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, ESPNCoastal.com. And welcome back. It's High School Sports Roundup here on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, ESPNCoastal.com. It's all fueled by N Market. PJ Zucco back here with you as we look at all these big high school football games from last night. Islands getting the victory over Johnson 19-7. Calvary Day defeating Frederica 47-14 last night. Burt County with a 1-point win over Richmond Hill 27-26. Jeff Davis over Jenkins 39-7. And New Hampstead all over Savannah High last night. Appling County defeating South Effingham 41-10. And last night as well, Benedictine Cadets travel up to Beaufort in South Carolina. Sadly fall in that one 33-23. And joining us now, the head coach of the Benedictine Cadets, Danny Britt, here with us on the High School Sports Roundup to chat about his team in the game last night against Beaufort. Coach Britt, great to have you on. How you doing this morning?
PJ, I'm hurting a little bit, but we'll go back to work and get it right.
I hear you, Coach, and know y'all will. And at the same time, I know you probably had some coffee this morning as well, as I know a late trip there last night, I'm sure also. But, Coach, yeah, like you said, a tough one last night falling to Beaufort, and really what was a back-and-forth ball game pretty much all night, and Beaufort just able to pull away there late in the ball game.
Yeah, definitely. We, again, just made way too many mistakes. And, right now we're just not a disciplined football team. I'm trying to figure out why that is. I'm not exactly sure because we've done things pretty much the same way the past 11 years. But right now that's where we're at, and it cost us a game last night.
Right, Coach. And you talk about some of those things, just fumbles, turnovers, situations like that. But also, I mean, I know there's no great answer for it, I'm sure. But you have drops in situations from wide receivers and from skill positions. And it's interesting because you see it in practice and you see it all throughout the week, and they're able to go through that and secure those passes and everything like that so well. And then just for some reason, it's just not clicking in a game. How do you try and move past that as a wide receiver and as a skill position player and kind of get that out of your head to move forward?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. I do believe for the most part catching football is concentration. There's other factors involved because there's 11 other people out there trying to stop that. But we have to just make a decision to continue to focus harder, and both in practice and then lead that into the game. And they're going to eventually catch those balls. Justin Thomas and Zaquan Bryan are going to not only catch those punts, they're going to catch those punts and do great things with them. I know that. They know that. We just have to continue to focus there on doing the best we can with everything we're doing.
Yeah, Coach, absolutely. Talking to Danny Britt, head coach of the Benedictine Cadets here on the High School Sports Roundup, following tough loss there last night to Beaufort 33-23. And Coach, obviously, as we mentioned, them able to pull away there late in the ball game, and defensively, able to make some big plays here and there, but ultimately they were able to find some room there, especially late in the game. Defensively, what was the difference, do you think, in being able to defend them and not slow them down as consistently as normal?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. There's some physical aspects to it, but one, we were undisciplined, and it doesn't show up as much as a receiver dropping the pass. But, not covering the guy out of the backfield from a linebacker position, a safety not getting over the top or getting over the top just a little bit too late, just things like that. And some things we just weren't making plays. Sometimes you just simply, all the technical part of it, all the hours we put into it, and sometimes it's simply you got to make the play or you don't make the play. To Beaufort's credit, they made the plays. And, I'm not in any way trying to take anything away from them. They did a great job. Coach, especially their offensive coach, called a great game. But, we've got to get better at every single thing we do. We're going to get together as the coordinators tomorrow early and figure out how we get there. And that's where we're at. We got to figure out how to get our team where we know we can be. And for whatever reason, whether we're changing how we practice, whatever it is, we got to figure it out and get back to doing football really well. Forget about trying to win a game now. It's about trying to do football really well.
Yeah, Coach, understandable. And like you said, in that spot right now and looking forward to seeing how the Cadets move through this for sure and come back from this. And Coach, I know tough to look at all the bright spots for sure, but at the end of the day, Holden Garner having another really solid game and knowing you can count on your quarterback there, 25 for 37, 260 there on the night through the air, and Zaquan Bryan as well. Like you said, when they're able to get the ball in their hands, he's going to make some huge plays, and he had 8 catches for $119 as well. So some bright spots certainly for the Cadets offensively.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we know we have the weapons. We know we can make it happen. Maybe if we could get points for Holden actually hitting the guy and them not having to catch it, maybe that'd work out too. 1 point. Can we take 1 point? And he missed some too. Holden's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we can be a good football team, but right now we're not, and that's what I told the team afterwards. And it's 100% my fault. I'm not a government employee. I'm not looking for somebody to blame. It's me, 100% on me. I am the one that's hired to run the Benedictine football program, and right now we're not good, and that's my fault. We got to figure it out.
Danny Britt, head coach of the Benedictine Cadets, are our guest here on the High School Sports Roundup. Fought Buford there last night, and looking forward to North Oconee for sure coming up here and transitioning through that non-region schedule for the Cadets. But Coach Britt, great to have you on once again. Always great talking to you, and we'll look forward to seeing a Benedictine transition and moving throughout the non-region schedule. But we'll certainly talk to you again soon. Hope you have a great one.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it, Coach Danny Britt, head coach of the Benedictine Cadets. And just mentioned right there, it's talented football team right now, no doubt, for Benedictine. And you might be surprised hearing him say it, but at the end of the day, got to be able to execute well in big situations. We'll see if Benedictine can keep doing that, start doing that even more throughout the season, playing some really good competition as well. And at the end of the day, though, when you play that good competition, those mistakes are heightened and elevated, even more. So 33-23 loss for Benedictine last night. They'll get back to the drawing board and move forward and get set for some more huge high school football games, huge non-region matchups throughout the rest of their schedule here in 2021. But we'll look forward to some more great high school football games throughout the week and be back here with you, of course, every Saturday from 10 to 11 on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, and ESPNCoastal.com. For one more time, Benedictine falling to Buford 33-23. It was Johnson falling to Islands 19-7. Frederica falling to Calvary Day 47-14. Savannah Christian gets the victory over Valwood 47-7. Richmond Hill falling to Burke 27-26, and Jenkins falling to Jeff Davis last night 39-7. This is the High School Sports Roundup on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, the ESPN app, ESPNCoastal.com, all fueled by N-Market. I am PJ Zucco. We'll be back here with you next week from 10 to 11 every Saturday. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy some college football later in the day. Stay safe this weekend, and God bless.